Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite 10 movies that I watched for the first time in 2022. Now, it's not going to be films that were released in 2022. I'm talking about I watched like 50 or more films during the year of 2022. And these are my top 10. So, these are like my top that I enjoyed. So I'm going to start by going with the least of the top 10. So like starting with number 10 to the first. So these are in the brackets. They've gone through the ringer and everything, and these are the top ones that I enjoy. So we'll start with the movie Altered. This was released in 2006, and I think is a little bit. I've never heard anybody talk about this one. Nobody talks about this one. It's got freaking these guys are trying to capture an alien because they were abducted and done experiments on before and released later. And they want to get some freaking revenge on these fuckers for doing that. They killed one of their friends, they did horrible experiments to them, and they end up actually catching one of these aliens. And these aliens are freaking freaky, man. They're creepy. They got, these sharp teeth. They can use mind powers on you and control your mind. They're really advanced technology. They are malicious, kind of like they do not care about killing necessarily, but they're also like just weird on causing pain and just keeping you alive. Like these things are not nice, not nice. You imagine the nice little gray aliens or something. These are like their evil older brothers or something. Just not cool. So it's a very small contained kind of movie. Takes place, where you'd expect in the South, and there's there's cornfield kind of locations, and they're in a shack, or not a shack, but a house that's by itself, isolated pretty much, and they've got to deal with it. They captured it, and it is a big deal that they did. Now, if they kill it, this was part of the debate of the movie. It's like they want to kill it, but one of them thinks that if they kill it, then it'll give the other aliens plenty of reason to go full on scorched earth on Earth. So that's where some of the issues go with that one. But just really good. I recommend you guys check that one out. And then we've got number 9, which is Don't Breathe. And this one, just like The Quiet Place, which I watched it pretty much in the same day, both of them having protagonists that need to really stay quiet and not make that much noise. This one was really good. I wasn't expecting there to be much from this, considering the premise is just, there's a blind man and these thieves try to go into his house and rob him. And I'm like, what can you do for a whole movie with that type of premise? But no, this one does pretty good. Surprised me with it. Nice tension, smart choices with it, a nice discovery. You stumble upon something even worse that has happened here, and like even though what he's doing is completely wrong entirely, like you can kind of see his perspective. Even he's crazy too, and all that stuff. Like he's like this girl runs over his daughter, and so he captures her and impregnates her, no, without having sex, mind you. He says he's like, I'm not a rapist. I just want a child, and so I'm gonna make her give me one. 9 months, and then she's free. Whatever. Like still horrible, but like there could be worse things that could happen to you. Is all I'm saying, especially with other horror movies and stuff. But still, like that is freaky to stumble upon, especially like with the robbers here. They're just trying to get some money, get out of this shitty town. The whole neighborhood's been cleaned out. This guy's like one of the only holdouts, and he's rich, he's blind. You think, oh, this is gonna be easy peasy, and oh, no. And he's got his trusty dog sidekick there that is surprisingly helpful later on in the film, Tim, and just pretty good. I'm curious what in the hell they do with the sequel. From what I've seen in a trailer, I think it's out now. I just haven't seen it yet, but that I don't know. I like that one. Number 9, Don't Breathe, and then number 8. I was very surprised to enjoy this film, Legally Blonde. This is a film that like my sister and mom loved for a long time. I just never was like, whatever. She's all a pink lawyer. Why would I care about that or anything? But after watching freaking She-Hulk, after watching the abysmal that like show that is She-Hulk and how awful that is, and having anything law-based or interesting character, any of that stuff, a horrible show. Legally Blonde is freaking amazing, especially by comparison. There's probably some things in Legally Blonde that aren't accurate as to real law, but it at least comes across far more competent, as if they are portraying real laws in that film. They're at least doing a good job at presenting it. And the character herself, I think, would have been an interesting candidate for She-Hulk. A character like her, who's very not macho or masculine or anything with strength being any of her main qualities. Like if she were to get that from like the Hulk or something, like dude, this could have been an interesting little story right here. But just for Legally Blonde on its own, it does really well. Like I enjoyed the movie too. I'd probably watch it again someday. Yeah, this one was all right. I freaking like it. Yeah. Number 7. At number 7, we've got Into the Spider-Verse, which I'm sure a lot of people would probably have as maybe higher on their list. I'm not sure, but again, this is out of my first time watching, so this is a different type of list in general here. I didn't think I was gonna like Into the Spider-Verse. I liked some of the MCU ones, Sam Raimi one's okay. Amazing Spider-Man didn't really like, but there's some things in there that maybe you could pull for some intrigue. No Way Home does some cool stuff with the characters. Into the Spider-Verse surprisingly does a decent job at handling a lot of characters, a lot of similar characters, handling them differently, making different things happen for them. Just all around pretty darn good job there, and it looks pretty good. It's a different style. At first it's a little jarring at first, but after a few minutes getting into the animation and everything, it works just fine. Your eyes adjust, you're used to it, and it looks good too, with a lot of the colors and lights, the way they're able to use it. It's all right. I hate trying to say pretty lights, but that's essentially what it is. It does look visually good, and the characters they portrayed pretty darn well. And there's a couple of twists in there that happen too that surprised me. And the action is fine, but I don't really care. I don't usually comment on the action unless there's something specific to go on there. But yeah, they make Kingpin as just like a normal human dude, surprisingly tough as a villain for Spider-Man to deal with and for Miles to deal with. So yeah, that was all right. I liked it. Spider-Verse. But something I liked more than Spider-Verse was at number 6, Lego Batman, which apparently they had like some similar workers working on the same stuff. I think that's what happened. That's why some of the animations look a little bit similar. But Lego Batman, man, like I'm not a huge Batman fan. Like I like the character and all, but he has like so many different iterations and movies and shows and material that comes out that he's very oversaturated in a way. It's like he's in the market quite a lot, so I don't really care too much for a Batman type of story. And I already saw the Batman in 2022. So I'm like, Lego Batman, I don't really know if I'd care to watch that, but I gave it a try. And there's so many villains in it that are utilized well. It's very hilarious, I think, the way they have things happen too. And like other than just comedy or just visual spectacle, there are some decent type of character stuff that happens in it too. I mean, it's aimed for a kid audience, so they don't go too deep, but they go deep enough where, like, as a kid, I imagine you would feel something. An adult in the room can be entertained with it as well. I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're doing something. This silly little movie here is doing something that's kind of interesting. So, yeah, that one's good. Like that one. And then we've got Kick-Ass 1 and 2, another little surprising duo of okay. So I guess it could be considered cheating to have two here on the same slot, and there's another pairing a little bit up the line that I have as well with two films. I'm kind of counting as one because I watched them back to back, and they seem like they pair together pretty well when you just watch them back to back, kind of like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, like essentially was a continuation to the next film. That's how I kind of was watching these in a way, even if there is a time difference and it's a movie 1, movie 2, I'm counting them in one slot. Kick-Ass had a nice little idea of like, yeah, I want to be a hero. I want to actually do it this time. A lot of people that watch superhero stuff that get inspired don't necessarily, take to actually getting in shape or doing certain things the heroes do to show, their heroism and whatnot. But they try to do that with this, and there's a lot of silly antics that come with it, but then also some genuine character moments that happen with it too. And it just was interesting based on the little weird world they had. A couple of subversions that were welcomed. That not every subversion is a bad subversion. So that I don't know. That one was pretty good. A lot of good stuff in there. And then I got No Country for Old Men at number 4. Now this top 4 here was difficult for me to arrange necessarily. It was not easy, but no, I put No Country for Old Men for enjoyment at number 4 because there's a lot that I like in it, and there's a lot of things done really well in it. But compared to the other ones that are higher up on the list here, I enjoyed them more than I enjoyed this one. But this one was a surprise too because I didn't have much to expect from it. And the only scene that I saw prior to watching the movie was the coin scene, with the first coin scene at like the gas station, where the guy's like, I don't know what we're going for, and he's like, no, this is the most important one in your life, and he's like, don't just put that away with the other coin, and he's like, well, what do you want me to do with it? Well, I don't know, it's just a coin. It's just like the different value that the character puts into stuff and the different morality stuff that gets questioned in it, I thought was pretty good. I want to watch that one again one of these days because it was that good. It deserves another rewatch. I think it was some of these ones that I watched for the first time. I'm kind of critically minded, or I'm not. Some of them I'm not paying attention as much as I should, and so some of these I'm going to give a second watch here. But I'm also trying to watch more new stuff as well. Trying to watch a lot of new things makes it difficult sometimes to fully, catch everything that happens in there. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this again at some point. Freaking love it. And then I got The Quiet Place 1 and 2 at number 3. Yes, I'm counting them both as well, like with KickAss. I already did a video on this on my channel if you guys want to see my thoughts over there. I do have a lot of complaints about the aliens and how easily I think they'd be to defeat, but overall, regardless of any complaints that I have for the film, freaking love it though. It's done, so many things are done well, from the actors, the child actors that actually act well and don't piss me off. That's rare. That's rare. I enjoyed that. They did well, and they incorporated, the deafness with it and being quiet and the hearing. Like, they did a lot of stuff freaking good with this shit. I freaking love them. Freaking love them. On to number 2. Man, this one was the last. I snuck this in just, right at the end of 2022 before 2023, and that is Whiplash. Drumming, man. I saw Drumline when I was a kid and thought that was okay. This kicks its ass. This is so much better. This is really good. Like, it doesn't make me want to drum or anything, but it makes the art, like, it makes drumming seem far more intense the way that it's presented here, and how like your emotions can really affect how you play and act and everything. The way that they do it is like there's gonna be he's yelling at them, insulting them the whole time, and they're sweating their balls off, and like in the beginning, the contrast, like he was like, "What are you upset? What say everybody? Tell everybody you're upset. I'm upset." And then you cut to like at the end when he's like getting belittled later even more, and his hands are freaking bleeding from the way he's holding the stick and everything, and just like he can take it. He's dishing some of it out. Goes through some growth. Done really well. Freaking love it. Before I go to the last one of my top 10 that I watched here, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. I was out of 50 or more movies that I watched there. So a couple that did not get onto that, I would say, was 007 Skyfall. This A lot of people hate Daniel Craig's Bond. I haven't seen all of the other ones yet. At this point, I have seen Doctor Love and From Russia with Love, or Doctor No, sorry, Doctor Love, Doctor No, and From Russia with Love. I've seen those, but I haven't seen all the rest up until the Daniel Craig ones. I've not seen the rest of those, but I thought this was done well. The music intro, especially, I thought was freaking great. The way that it starts, I thought was pretty good, and it well paced and goes through nice and neat, tells a good story. Though, again, so when I watch all of the 007s, when I finally watch all of them, I want to rewatch the Daniel Craig Bonds and see if I still enjoy them the way that I do, or if I like them more or less. I don't know. But there's a lot of references that I think they were making in there to other 007 ones that I just don't know about, or maybe they were hinting at, but I didn't know. So hopefully there's more layers to it than what I remember. But I enjoyed it. Freaking enjoyed it. Like it. Another honorable mention would be Trick or Treat. I was surprised at this one. I thought it was going to be some, silly little demon monster thing that can just crush people, and I thought that was going to be the whole film. But no, it was hilarious. Little different stories happening at different times, and you're following them. Rogue from X-Men's in it, and it was just a nice, enjoyable little treat. It's funny, a little funny horror comedy. And the last of the honorable mentions will be Anchorman 1 and 2. Will Ferrell is 50-50 for me when it comes to humor. Sometimes he gets me, or sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with that. That was pretty funny. The other half the time, I'm just like, God, you're so cringe and annoying. Shut the fuck up. But Anchorman 1 and 2, Like, it had a weird effect where I think what he says is cringe, but I'm laughing, and I enjoyed a lot of it. It was pretty good. Anchorman 2, I think I actually like more than number 1, and I don't know if that's controversial or not with, like, the Anchorman fandom, if there is one, or people that like the movies. I like number 2 more than number 1. And finally, the number 1 sin and finally, the number 1 movie that I watched for the first time in 2022 that I enjoyed is Sin Freaking City. Oh, this was a big ol' blast surprise. I was under the impression for some reason that it was gonna be a more slow-paced movie, which is fine. I'm cool with that, but I was in the mood. I was in the mood, but didn't know it. I was in the mood for an action-packed little thrill ride of hell and fun and whatever, and that is what this was, man. I had a great little cast. They had nice little stories weave in together with it. They had great characters, great style, great music added with it. It was freaking awesome. It's the type of one that I'm going to happily rewatch again, and I might do a video on one of these days if there's more stuff that I can discuss with it, honestly. But man, I freaking loved it. It felt kind of long, but I wasn't complaining about it. I was like, that's fine with me if it's long. Fuck yeah, let's go longer. Let's go. Let's go. It's great. Freaking loved it. Anyway, that is my top 10 of the first films that I watched in a 2022 list right here. I did a whole video going over all 50 ones that I watched. If you guys want to check that out already, I did a lot of my first time watching impressions on those, like my first time reactions on the Fandom Collective YouTube channel. If you want to check those out over there. And yeah, I'm going to start doing those on this channel, like Legally Blonde. Some of these I haven't done yet, actually. Like there's about 8 or 9 that I didn't do toward the end of 2022. I didn't actually record videos yet, but I will, and they will be put onto the Rookie Critic channel. So until then, have a great rest of your day.